That belongs in a museum.
Let the pain speak to me.
By fire be cursed! Die, insect!
Bring pain.
Armor made to fit.
Charge forward! Avoid cold! Fire on! Everyone, get in here! Everyone, get in here! Everyone, get in here! Everyone, get in here! Bring the pain. Yes. Yeah! Everyone, get in here! Everyone, get in here! Fire on! Yeah! Fire on! Everyone, get in here! Everyone, get in here! Get in here! Everyone, get in here!
What now?
I have no time for games.
The blade be thirsty. Fire on! Yeah! Everyone, get in here! Everyone, get in here! Get in here! Everyone, get in here! The blade be thirsty. Fire on! Fire on!
Shoot!
Everyone, get in here! Fire on! Right. Everyone, get in here! Zoltan versus Rexar.
Let the hunt begin. Your soul shall be mine. Why do you call?
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
As you command. To my side.
Put this apple on your head.
Get in there and fight, maggot! From the void I come. Ready to ride.
Hey, catch! Hey, catch!
To the void. From the void I come. I wonder. Ready to ride. I wonder. To the void. Get in there and fight, maggot! To the void. I wonder. I moves quickly.
I feel really bad for him. Yeah, that really sucks. um, I will be taking it, but jeez. Okay, well, I guess I'll take this time to talk a little about the games then. Again, I feel really bad for her. Feel really bad for him. Feel really bad for him. So the patron versus control warrior matchup. 2 control warriors this game, which is just bizarre. But cool to see. Glad to know that it's not just all patrons that people are playing. Anyways, the control warrior versus patron matchup is generally favored for the control warrior. However, it's favored for the control warrior mainly because basically the way to beat patron is to drop a lot of large, or kind of like medium-sized to large-sized mid-game minions to put a lot of pressure on the patron. The combo with using only the cards in the patron warrior's hands. In that case, in our first game, he didn't have a lot of the large to mid-range creatures that that would put pressure on me, and I was just able to basically just sit, wait, hold cards in my hand until I was able to basically combo him down. Also, when I did combo, the first patron turn, it was crucial that he didn't have Brawl there. If he had Brawl there, I would have had a much tougher time, and I wouldn't have had lethal next turn because of the Frothings and the Whirlwinds. Yeah, let's let him have his time to fix out issues on his end. We really don't want another game to end like that. That second match, it's kind of 50-50. It's kind of 50-50. It really depends on whether I draw into Defender of Argus. Defender of Argus is huge. And whether I draw into, whether my Void Colors can bring out Mal'Ganis. In that game I had neither, and thus, well, I should have lost because I had neither. And I just couldn't stop him from hitting me in the face. I should have lost that game. But you didn't see me kill the Wolf Rider on the second to last turn, because I knew that at that point I just couldn't clear the board. I had to start hitting him. I had to set up lethal, and I had to hit him in the face, because I needed to race him. I wasn't drawing my defenders. I wasn't drawing Mal'Ganis. I wouldn't be able to play Mal'Ganis anyways, even if I drew him. So I just knew that I had to just race him and hope that he didn't have 2 damage in his hand necessary to kill me. I figured he'd get Unleash or something, but yeah, just hope that he didn't have 2 damage in my hand to kill me, and I just had to set it up so that I could lethal him next turn, which I did. Again, really unfortunate that he couldn't, that his internet had issues, but that should have been his game. Okay, and I guess I'll talk a little bit about the last matchup before I jump into it. Let's see. His last deck is my last deck is the Mage deck, and it'll be going up against the Control Warrior deck, which I think is favored for me. The Hunter, which I think is kind of 50-50. Again, it's a bit of a race. It's a bit of a race in this case, depending on whether I can get good Flame Wakers. Not just how much damage he does to me in the beginning. If he has like a really good start like he did this game, then I might not even be able to come back. Yeah. And then I guess I don't know what his Warlock deck is. No clue what his Warlock deck is. I think if it's Zoo, I'm not favored. That's like the worst matchup in my opinion. If it is, if it's Handlock, I think I am slightly favored. He can still pull off like ridiculous Molten Giant turns that I can't deal with, but the key here is just to play around the Moltens. Try your best to play around the Moltens at least, and just burst him down with Fireballs. It's really good in the Handlock versus Tempo Mage matchup that you save the Fireballs and use them for the face. You need that burst damage to kill him from whatever amount that he starts dropping giants from. In the what's it? Malygos. Malygos is the other big rock deck. And the Malygos versus Tempo Mage matchup, I think I haven't played it a lot because I haven't met anyone who plays Malygos Warlock on ladder besides me. Probably because Malygos is such an expensive card and I'm at a relatively low ranking. But I think that matchup is probably 50-50. Again, if I get off to a stupidly fast and good start, Mana Worm Insanity, then I have a good shot. But I am in a good position right now. I just need to win 1 of 3 games, and hopefully I can do that. Okay, looks like he's back on, and let's see if we can jump into this game. Oh, I think one interesting thing is that I considered running a mid-range paladin this week instead of my Tempo Mage deck. I'm unsure how I would have fared had I ran this deck instead of the Tempo Mage. I guess if you substitute the mid-range paladin in for my Tempo Mage from that first match, I'm of the opinion that the Tempo Mage does better against Control Warrior than the mid-range Paladin does, but just barely. The mid-range Paladin has a very strong matchup against Control Warrior anyways, mainly because he just can't deal with your muster for battle dudes and your quartermasters. It's just so important to save your muster for battle, so that you can make them big with quartermaster. And you just generally have better ways to deal with the board than the Control Warrior, who's generally always playing from behind. I did a little practice with Miracle Rogue as well. Again, well, Miracle Rogue is not my forte. That's Matt's forte. And yeah, hopefully he's doing well. I heard that he lost his first match to Dog, unfortunately, in a very close 3-2 series. Apparently, he told me that he could have turned his game around potentially if he had drawn into his Blade Flurries, which are at the bottom of his deck. Last 2 cards of it, I think. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Dog with a really interesting lineup though. He brought Druid and he brought Rogue, which doesn't strike you as strange at all. But then he brought Priest, which is really odd. I'm really curious to see how he did with the Priest. I think I can check that right now, actually. Yeah, but Priest, interesting choice. Like, what's odd about Priest is that it has a horrible matchup against, I think, okay, not horrible, but I don't think it's favored against any of the top decks right now. So, like, the 3 top decks are Patron Warrior, Oil Rogue, and Mid-Range Hunter. And those are, like, basically the 3 decks that you always have to keep in mind. Oh, and I guess Zulak as well. They always have to keep in mind when you're going into, a tournament with. I don't think Priest has a good matchup against Patron. I think it's somewhat 50-50. If you're running the Alternate Circle version, you need to have Alternate Circle when he combos you, and you have a lot of minions that he can combo you off with. And if you're running the Light Bomb version, you need Light Bomb, or else you kind of just lose the game. Holy Nova isn't really clear, and you can't really count on Valen's chosen Holy Nova as a clear because you might not have a minion after he establishes his patron board. Against Zulak, okay, I guess Priest is like favored against Zulak. That might be the only matchup depending on how you build it. But even then, like, I think Zulak is so strong that it, like, if played optimally, it has a 50-50 win rate against everything. And then against Druid, not against Druid, against Rogue, Miracle Rogue. Miracle Rogue just, like, demolishes Priest because the Priest doesn't have that many threats. Like, the Priest just can't play threats. And if you Valen's chosen, like, a Death Lord or something as your threat, the Priest can just sap it. And the Priest just plays his Shredders, and Rogue just plays Shredders, and Priest can't do anything, and then you oil the Shredders, and you just combo him down, and there's very little resistance in that matchup. And then against Hunter, I guess depending on how you build it, the Priest might be favored, but again, like, the Priest sometimes is just so inconsistent in that it gets poor hands. You need a lot of your combo pieces in order to fight competitively with a lot of the decks, and if you don't have the combo pieces when you need them, you're kind of just sitting there and healing yourself every time while the Hunter hits your face or the Rogue hits your face. Maybe if Dog was expecting a lot of mid-range Paladin, then potentially he would bring the Priest is a good pick. Potentially that's a good pick, but I don't think a lot of people in Group C were playing mid-range Paladin. And yeah, I guess we'll just get back to the match.
Jaina versus Garrosh.
Victory or death!
You asked for it.
Let the pain speak to me.
My hand is full. I see you.
Yeah, King of Mukla on turn 3 was really big there. That may be all I have to say. I guess it didn't do that much because of the brawl, but I mean, I think the matchup is in my favor anyways. I gained tempo. He's always behind. Those 2 brawls kept him in it, but that's the matchup. Especially when he doesn't have weapons. Well, especially when he doesn't have Deathblade, that's the big thing. Alright, those are my matches. Thanks for watching, guys.